Hi guys, this is Sunita. Welcome to your class 11, English, chapter 2. We aren't afraid to die, part 5. So let us continue. So I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our main compass and I was using a spare one. The main compass was lost. That's why I was using an extra compass which had not been corrected for magnetic variation, which was not giving me the exact readings. I made an allowance for this and another estimate of the influence of the westerly currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. So I made an extra arrangement. I just checked the current of the western current of the water which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. So through the current of the water and through the that extra compass, I just counted my calculations. About 2 p.m. I went on deck the main area. Here I just told you here if this is the boat, then this the upper part of any of the ship, any of the boat is called deck. Asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. If we were lucky, I told him with a conviction that I was sure. I was showing that it was sure. I did not feel, but I was not feeling it as sure as I was just pretending. He could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. I told him to move the ship 185 degree, and if we lucky, then of course we were going to get the island which we were looking for. So then, with a heavy heart, I went below, climbed on my bunk, and amazingly dozed off. I don't know how, but I slept for some time. When I woke, it was 6 p.m. and growing dark, of course. I knew we must have missed the island. See, as I woke up, what came in my mind that surely we had missed the islands and again we were lost in the sea. And with the sail we had left, we couldn't hope to beat back into the westerly winds. And if we had really missed the islands, then surely the boat was not ready to fight with the westerly winds again. At that moment, a tousled head appeared by my bunk. Can I have a hug? Jonathan asked. Sue was right behind him. Sue was standing behind Jonathan. So Jonathan asked that can I have a hug? And a toast had means Jonathan came in front of his father, and at that time his head was not combed, the hair were not arranged properly. That's why here a tousled head has been used. Why am I getting a hug now? I asked. I was confused because according to me we had missed the island. That's why I was confused that I didn't do anything. So why was I getting a hug? Because you are the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain, my son replied. Not today, John, I'm afraid. I was surprised. Why, you must be, said Sue in matter of fact voice. You found the island, and she informed me that we had found the island. What? I shouted, and I shouted in surprise. What? It's out there in front of us. They chorused. They sang together. They spoke together that it was in front of us. It was outside, as big as a battleship. It was not so much big, but it was enough. I rushed on deck and gazed with the relief at the stark outline of Il Amsterdam. The outline of the island was not so pleasant. It was a plain outline of the island. It was only a bleak piece of volcanic rock. It was only a plain and unpleasant piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation. There was little vegetation only. It was not so pleasant, but for us it was the most beautiful island in the world. Although Here, see the irony, the antithesis, you can just note it down. Initially, he is saying that it was not a very beautiful, it was not a pleasant place, it was a bleak piece of a plain and unpleasant piece of volcanic rock. But here, in the same sentence, he is saying it was the most beautiful island in the world. Why? Because that island only could save their life, and whatever was going to save their life was the most important and most beautiful thing in the world for them. So we anchored offshore for the night, and the next morning all inhabitants of the island cheered us. They helped us ashore. So we just took some rest for the night at the shore, and the next morning we met all the 28 inhabitants of the island, and they cheered us and helped us to get the shore. With land under my feet again, because we were moving in the ocean, we were fighting with the storm. So when I got the land again under my feet, my thoughts were full of Larry and Herbie, cheerful and optimistic under the direst stress. I was feeling that for those two crewmen, that they were so cheerful and optimistic under that direst stress, and of Mary, who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. She stayed at the wheel because the author just handed over the wheel to his wife, so that he could check out what was going on in the boat. And throughout that crucial hours, she only handled that wheel. Most of all, I thought of a 7-year-old girl who did not want us to worry about a head injury, which subsequently took six minor operations to remove a recurring blood clot between the skin and skull. Now see, सबसे ज़्यादा मैं उस लड़की के बारे में सोच रहा था, which who was 7-year-old only, and who did not want to make us worry. And later when we just got the head injuries operated, six operations took place. और operations किस चीज़ के लिए हुए थे? That there were blood clots, means खून की गांठें जम गई थी between the skull and the skin, and of a 6-year-old boy who was not afraid to die. So here it is all. So we'll meet in the next chapter, or in question answers of the same chapter. Till then, thank you, have a nice day.